broadcasting to you today live on Twitch. We are broadcasting live on Twitch. We're doing this now, changing things up, but you can always find us, of course, on the website, skyscrescentradio.com, SKYES, crescentradio.com. You can also find us on many other places, such as facebook.com, with the Skies Crescent Radio Facebook page, or the Upfront with Frank Rothstein Facebook page. Feel free to leave us comments, whether you're here on Twitch, there, or later on, we'll be having the video of this show on YouTube. Again, Skies Crescent Radio. And this is a little bit different for me because I'm used to doing things in a certain way, but I'll figure it out. Meantime, I'm getting a big blast of seeing what I look like on camera. And if you're looking at me directly behind me, you can see the cyclone. That is because that is a picture of Coney Island. An old friend of ours, film director, who is based out of Coney Island. Her name is Martina Neal. She took that picture on a cold day. I'm not sure how she got out to the fields, or I know how, or why, but it was a cold day and she caught this great shot. And I told her I'm stealing it for myself because she knows where I grew up. That's where I grew up. And that's my background, even though the background effects are not perfect. But, what is perfect? So for those of you who really don't know me all that well, what do we really do here? Well, on those rare times that there is a guest, or our guests, one more than one, I talk about what they want. Pretty much anything. There is very rarely a scripted question in my shows. The only time I ever scripted anything, roughly, was about 5 years ago. There was an introduction for someone coming on my show, but really I don't script anything. And that way the show, you never know. A good argument may break out for a good laugh. We want a good laugh, but if we get a little bit in there, I'm for it. Sitting with me as always, the woman who presses all my buttons and makes sure that things flow smoothly, make sure the river runs. It is, of course, Jade Zabrick. Jade runs Skies Crescent Radio. She hits all the buttons. She does the job the things I hate doing. Doing the tech work is all well and good. It's fun and it's interesting and all that, but it does on occasion get, it's not my thing. Let's put it that way. Even though I can do it, it's not my thing. I like having Jade around just for these reasons. So anyway, what else we talk about what's going on in the world. And in the world, I try not to cover what's on the headlines because you can find that all day and night. Anything you want to hear about a war, turn on television. You want to hear about a disease, turn on television. So, that's easy enough. Picture buying a newspaper and starting on, say, page 8. That's where I like to start. If there's something really going on important, sorry, I hit my microphone, then yeah, I'll talk about it. I have things to talk about, but I like to get the lesser known stories because there's a very interesting world out there when you get away from the headlines. And that is what I like to discuss. And since we are live on Twitch, if you're watching and you have a question, I am looking at the screen. I can read it live on the air. Give you a little bit of a shout out. We'll just discuss it and we'll answer it. No one says I cannot be distracted and talk about anything you want. I am easy. Be my chat guest. I'm looking at Jade. What are you eating, Jade? What are you eating? She's not talking because she's chewing. She's eating M&M's peanut flavor. Just keep in mind, I know she keeps shaking her head. One of my things is out here is the world is my prop. Everything is my prop. I purposely go live so I can take advantage of this. Because let me tell you something. When people record things and they want to get it just right, they want to really get it perfect, they shoot long because you need all the footage you can get. You can shoot this much to get this much that you're going to see. And you want to get things said right, which takes away, I feel, from the effect of saying it honest, saying it the way you feel. And that is one thing. The old motto of this show is everyone should be heard. I want everyone to be heard as they want to say it. And how did I name this show? Well, up front, I didn't know what to call this show when I first started, which, by the way, come this August will be 6 years. I'm coming up on 300 shows. So I was talking to, well, my mom. My mother was talking. I didn't know what to call it. She said, call it the Frank Rothstein Show, but nah, it's no good because my last name is like a tongue twister. You know, it's a tongue twister. You get sort of caught up. So she said, why don't you just look in a thesaurus? So that's what I did. I punched up the thesaurus and put in the name Frank, put in the word Frank, which of course in the dictionary means honest. But as I got to like page 2 or 3, it said up front. And I had a little bit of catchy to it. So, you know, and that's how we do things pretty much. So if you want to know what I'm talking about today, oh, let's get to it. So anyway, let's start off. Usually I start off, well, people usually go with the headlines, you know, president, or, you know, sometimes it's like a disaster out there. You don't want that. Let's start with a little bit of religion, shall we? An Illinois church, this story came out last week, actually on April 5th, because I'm only on once a week. I don't have like a news, like the old expression, a news ticker. I don't get it and give it to you as it's coming out. I just get it and I save it up and whatever catches my eye. So anyway, this came out last week and the headline reads, and I got this from the Washington Times, but it comes out on other news outlets also. An Illinois church touts fasting from whiteness as Lent 2022 observance. All right, Lent, you know, we're coming up on Easter. People give things up for Lent. The church, let's see, the United Church of Christ, the congregation in suburban Chicago, says it's fasting from whiteness during Lent, and that's the 40 days before Easter, as you know. It says, in our worship services throughout Lent, we will not be using any musical liturgy written or composed by white people. That's according to the First Church of Oak Park, which traces its roots to 1860. That's pretty cool, 1860. Okay, our music will be drawn from African American spirituals tradition, from the South African freedom songs, Native American traditions, and of course, plenty of others, many more. For Lent, it is our prayer that our spiritual disciplines we may grow as Christians, united in the body of Christ for people of all ages, nations, races, and origins. Except that with that line, that is now hypocritical of the headline, which is fasting from whiteness. You could have said, we'll be focusing this Lent period, we will be focusing on the words and the music of people of African American, South African freedom. You could have reworded it. It could have been worded in such a way that this would sound great. I mean, I've heard music from all different cultures, all different ways. I've heard music from a lot of places, plenty of good music out there, beautiful music. Excuse me. But when you're saying something like that, and then you're saying for all race, ages, nations, races, and origins, which is a line of inclusion, your headline is a line of exclusion, fasting from whiteness. Now, yes, I can go to church and sit with them, of course, and I don't go to church, but I can go to church and sit there and enjoy the music and hear the words and all that. And, you know, like most people who go to church, you get what you get out of it, and whatever brings you comfort, that's great. But somehow, saying the words fasting from whiteness, and we're not using the words or liturgy written and composed by white people, somehow does not seem to me to be found anywhere in the teachings of Christ, not by color or race, by designation directly, but by the general teachings of Christ. You ever see that statue in Brazil? You know, the statue of Jesus standing on the mountain? That is all. All will be loved, all will be welcome, all. That is not you today, not you tomorrow. We don't want you. You're okay to come in, but that's not. That is not what that is not what the belief of Christ in Christ means. That, as far as I know, not that I'm so religious, not that I've gone up and down the Bible in every religion or the Torah or anything else for that matter. But somehow, from what I've picked up along the way, in Christ we do not segregate. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I'm not saying it wasn't wrong. I know that. But at this time, 2022, when everybody wants, we're all included, we're all this, we should all be accepted, we should all be all these things. Saying we are not, we're excluding white people, the works of white people. Even if you want to do it, I don't care either way who you play in the church, where your teachings come from. Everything is in the wording. Everything. I just said it myself. The line of my show is everyone should be heard. That means everyone should be heard, not everyone but you. That ain't happening. So anyway, that is on the internet. You can easily look that one up. And I do have the link in my Facebook page. I do have a link for it. Says the Whiteness Fast was first announced March 6th as a serving marking the start of Lent. However, it only gained wide notice on April 5th. The Post-Millennial website published a brief report, so on and so on. All right, there you go. You now know the story. Somehow, to me, especially, I don't know, to me, it just seems a little bit off, but that's just me, right? Okay, what else is going on? We're in New York City. So a lot of my stories, a lot of my personal concerns are at home, like everybody else. One is, the headline is, I get my stuff, a lot of it from the New York Post. Now, people say, the Post. Well, yeah, but the New York Post gets a lot of feeds from a lot of other news agencies, so it's convenient. That, and when I have to print the story, it prints up very well on my home printer. So for me, it works. Plus, I have a good sports section. Okay, this one here came out last week. And it says the Big Apple shoplifting spree has skyrocketed 81% compared to last year. It says merchandise at New York stores has been quite the steal. Shoplifting complaints in the Big Apple have skyrocketed 81% this year compared to last, as the city continues to reel from a crime surge that's eclipsing pre-pandemic levels. Well, the next paragraph says, so far this year, there's been more than 5,000 petty larceny, grand larceny, robbery complaints stemming from shoplifting incidents. Now, we've seen this. We've seen the videos. We've seen the news stories, the video clips. We see a lot of it. One of my favorites was a couple of months ago, the guy walking out of, what was it, Target, wherever he was, with stacks and stacks of meat in his arms. He tried to get out in a basket, but the security at the door wouldn't let him take the basket. The 12 packets of steaks he could have, but the basket had to stay. And that's just one example. This has been now, at least in New York, there is no bail for a lot of criminals. And I don't mean petty theft. I mean, there's a lot of times there's no bail for a lot of bad things. But this is what's going on. A lot of people are stealing. We have a lot. I remember as a kid, I mean, I'm a lot older than probably most people listening to me here, but this didn't happen. You went to steal in someone's store, deal with it. Yeah, this is, although last week a shoplifter was busted. This is a Soho story. It says shoplifters busted after nabbing $70,000 in merchandise in a Soho boutique. Well, yeah, there's got to be a little bit of a limit as to what you're going to try to get away with. So that was handled. Where else? What else we got here? But in San Francisco, one guy for stealing, because San Francisco is a whole different animal of cityness. They have a whole different set of rules there. This one here says, where is it? Where's my headline? San Francisco Walgreens thief on bicycle who went viral during theft sentenced to prison. You remember this guy? You saw him in the video. He was on the news. He went into a store with a bicycle and a giant duffel bag, and he started filling stuff up left and right, filling stuff up. And then he wrote out. Well, Gene Lugo Romero, he pleaded guilty. Sort of hard not to when you're on a video. So anyway, he's going to get, what does it say? He received a year of probation in additional to the jail term. So whatever he gets, he gets. But yeah. And the thing is, if you're a thief, you got to be thinking, well, why not? No one's allowed to touch me. No one's allowed to touch anyone. I mean, I don't mean you're supposed to go over and take a bat and club them in the head, but oh no, don't touch me. Matter of fact, if you brush someone's sleeve, they're going to tell you you're assaulting. That's what it is. Everyone's being assaulted. That's all you hear about. I love all these videos I see, whether they're the First Amendment auditors or anyone else, or these fake Karen videos you see when you see everyone ranting and raving at a store manager or whatever it is. You touch anyone, you even cross into their path, you're in my personal space. Oh, you assaulted me. I don't see anybody needing an ambulance, but yeah, I'm assaulted. So yeah, thieves, they can do what they want because no one is going to stop them. That is wrong. Again, not saying you're supposed to leave there in an ambulance, but definitely if store security wants to hold you for the cops, for the police to come, I'm all for it. I am all for it because you're not supposed to be stealing. But that's just how I feel about things. What else is going on here? Oh, here's one. You know, this is another story. It's not all over the news. Probably got a quick mention. Again, this is last week's story. I keep all my stories through, but you don't see them all over the headlines. This one came out on April 5th. It says planned. I got this on NBC News website. If you think I'm not getting it from somewhere reputable. Plan to search school lunches, limit snacks, sparks backlash in Pennsylvania district. And this says here, Pennsylvania school on Monday started limiting the amount of snacks students can bring to school. Again, everyone's outraged, sparking outrage from some parents. And that is a Facebook post from the Aliquippa School District posted last week, said that Aliquippa junior and senior high school students had started bringing in excessive amounts of outside snacks, like shopping bags full of chips and canned drinks. Shopping bags, well, that would not need to be searched, but okay, because you could see it. Because of that, student bags will be searched, the district said in the post. Anything more than the 4-ounce bag of chips and one beverage up to 20 ounces will be thrown out by security. All right. We got the gist of that story. Well, do I think that somebody's supposed to bring in a big bag, with like all kinds of drinks, or like going grocery shopping? No, ridiculous. Not to mention, you're going to get something's going to infest the school, of course. But do I like the idea that a school is going to start searching bags and monitor every last ounce of food you bring? I mean, there are certain kids, especially I'm a diabetic, I already know this. Some kids do have to keep snacks with them because they can get a sugar drop. Their sugar levels there are health conditions that require people to eat often. It's just the way they are. If you are a student and the schools have a sports team, they need to eat a little more frequently than the average student because they're working a lot harder than the average student. Their bodies anyway, because they're always in training. So, kids have different needs for what they're doing. But if they have a backpack and they have a couple of bottles of whatever, as opposed to whatever the cafeteria offers. And I don't see the harm in it. I mean, don't eat in class while the student is teaching. Of course not. But somehow searching the kids' bags is not my idea of what should go into the right column. I'm going to put that in the wrong column. And if you have anything to think about, if you want to, share your thought on the subject, feel free. Feel free. Let's hear from you. Again, my email, by the way, before I forget, my email is upfrontfrank@gmail.com. Upfrontfrank@gmail.com. If you'd like to talk to Skies Crescent Radio or Jade, you can always write to jadezabrick@gmail.com or skiescrescentradio@gmail.com. You're very easy to find. All comments, all suggestions are welcome. We want to hear from you. What else is going on in the world? Because there's always something. I want to see if I want to break. Okay, we're getting to. I didn't keep too many big stories today. Okay, I don't know if you heard that. A video went off my computer. Okay, let me get to some of the dumber stories around, because I'll get to some important stuff a little later, I guess. Oh, do I want to do that? Oh no. Okay, let's see. Oh, let's get this. Now, this is an important story. I got to talk about this now. Structured, I'm somewhat, but I always bounce around. This story here came out on April 8th. There is no ending to the definition of stupid. There's no limit to it. Let's put it that way. People do dumb stuff all the time. You've heard someone that say the words, "Oh, I'm such an idiot," because they did something that was not the smartest. But this one here says Florida teens wearing armored vests kill pal while taking turns shooting each other. Got that? 3 friends shooting each other with armored vests kills 1. Let's see, a Florida teen was killed and his 2 pals, friends, whatever, were arrested after taking turns shooting live rounds at each other while wearing armored vests. Christopher Broad, 16, was found suffering from at least 1 gunshot wound inside a home in Bellevue. Yeah, that was last Sunday. He was rushed to a local hospital where he died from the injuries after an ensuing probe revealed that Broad and another boy, Joshua Vinning, who was 17, were taking turns shooting each other while wearing the vest, which contained a form of body armor. The Bellevue Police Department, a third teen, Colton Whitler, was present at the time of the shooting and allegedly gave a false account of what took place. Well, let's see. It says Vinning shot at Broad while he was wearing the vest and was struck, I would imagine. So anyway, both these kids were arrested, will be charged as adults, and I cannot believe that people are this type of dumb. Yeah, I just cannot believe it, because there are professionals, soldiers, people who do this for a living, wearing body armor, all sorts of protective gear, hoping and praying that it never has to get tested, that nobody takes a shot at them and they have to depend on this piece of whatever they're wearing to protect them and hopefully save their lives. Nobody wants to be shot at. Nobody wants to be shot at, except these 2. 3. People are dumb. Keep it in mind. There's no end. There's no limit to it. That's why I take the approach of, when I read all these stories, I sort of go along the way of saying, what? Because if that headline doesn't make you say, what? Then I don't know what to do. Oh, man. What else is it? What else is going on today? I need some humor. If there's something more serious to talk about, we'll get to it. Anyway, so here I am looking at some other stories, seeing what can I laugh at. Because there is a lot of things to laugh at. And this one says here from April 4th, A woman spends $50,000 cloning her dog as pet cloning is on the rise. And this one here says, Francesca Gierstma from Florida. Everything weird happens in Florida. I find a lot of stories in Florida and Australia. Don't ask me why. Was left, well, let's see, Francesca Gierstma from Florida was left devastated after her dog Osa passed away from canine cognitive disorder, often called dog dementia. All right. Unable to say goodbye, she contacted a company specializing in pet cloning. Just 18 months later, she was presented with 3 genetically identical clones of Osa, grown from the cells taken behind the ear of the original dog shortly before its death. And she says losing a dog is losing such an amazing dog was so unthinkable. I can imagine. I have lost 5 cats along the way. It's a horrible feeling. Every time a pet dies, it takes a piece of you right here from the pit of your stomach, right there. It's a picture like punching yourself in the stomach, right there. So she cloned 50, she has 3 copies of one dog. It doesn't exactly say how old the dog was when it died, but what I can tell you is that these will not be the same dogs. It can't be the same dogs because she's not the same owner. I don't know how long the dog dementia tells me it's a pretty old dog. All right. I'm guessing it's an old dog. Let's put it that way. But even if the dog is over 10, 12, whatever it is, the owner is not the same person they were 10, 12 years ago. And life has changed in the house. Things have changed. These are not the same dog. Physically, yeah, but not the same dog. It's like, I'm sorry, I wouldn't even have a better example, but okay, let's just clone me and we'll start again as 3 little kids. But today, the kids won't be raised the same way I was back then. Things are different. So no, they are not the same kids. And, and if my parents cloned me, well, then they'd be starting over with me again, and they would not make the same decisions for me that were made then. Things would be different. It's just the way things go. You have a second chance. If you feel there were mistakes made, you'd want to correct that mistake. So no, 3 clones. If we clone you 3 times or 12 times, there's 12 perfectly healthy you sitting in the house. The parents are not going to raise the same kid. Doesn't happen. Life isn't the same. Technology isn't the same. So no, in the case of a dog nutrition isn't the same, even though we were talking about a handful of years ago. Things change. Things just change. And again, cloning, it's just so ghoulish. There are so many dogs needing adoption. You're spending 50 grand. There are so many dogs looking for love to receive and to give. Again, dumb. What's going on over here? Let's see. Yeah, we're still on Twitch. There I am. Oh, I should have brushed my hair. Although I'm getting time when I get a haircut. I can see me. It's getting a little bit long, but I'll just keep on stroking my hair back because it feels good in the breeze. Let's see. What else is going on here? Okay, let's get to sports for a second. This is actually an important thing. This happened in sports. I mean, I guess you have to be, again, this came from last week because a lot of the stories I get often happen after I get off the air. Don't be surprised that when I get off the air, by tonight at dinner time, I'm going to find a bunch of interesting things. But this is a historic decision. Cuba is now allowing their boxers to fight professionally overseas. Cuba, the communist country, the then communist country that would never allow their fighters to turn pro, is allowing their fighters to turn pro. That's incredible. That means they can benefit from their Olympics. I mean, I don't know what their boxing program is now, but as long as I can remember, Cuba had one of the best boxing programs to send Olympic athletes, amateur athletes out there in the ring. They were incredible. Probably the most famous Cuban fighter ever was the late heavyweight Teofilio Stevenson, who was a brilliant fighter, but he fought into his 30s as a 3-round fighter. Matter of fact, way back when they were trying to arrange for a fight between him and Muhammad Ali at the time, but things didn't work out, obviously, because it was more political than anything else. But now, in the terms of pro boxing, as long as the training program is still up to par, you're going to see a lot of athletes, a lot of titles changing hands, because Cuban fighters are excellent. And I think it's a great thing that they're allowing their athletes to practice their craft in a profitable way. I don't know why they didn't do it years before. I mean, whether you did things like the way Cuba used to, where or how they still do, I'm not sure how it works, where they take all but everything, or they do it in a normal tax system where you come home and pay taxes. Either way, there was a ton of revenue lost. You could have had fights in Cuba, arenas in Cuba, stadiums. No, didn't have that. So Cuba sort of walked away from a fortune over the decades from the 1950s when Fidel Castro overthrew the government and took over. But yeah, okay, well, good for the fighters today. That's what we talk about, what happens today. All right, let's get back to a serious one. Again, I bounce around. This one came out again last week. And I know everyone has a Second Amendment right. My rights, my rights, my rights. Gun, everyone has to have a gun. This headline came from NBC News. It says a toddler fatally shoots 4-year-old sister at a Pennsylvania gas station. Here's the scenario. 2-year-old boy shoots his 4-year-old sister. All right. They were in a parked car at a gas pump in Chester, south of Philadelphia. The toddler had been handling the weapon. It wasn't made clear what kind of a gun it was or how he got it. And the girl was taken to a hospital where she was pronounced dead. Well, the toddler had been handling the weapon. Well, the kid is 2. Was it locked in the trunk safely? Were only the driver who has a key to get into it? Nah, I don't think that. Was it left in the glove compartment that was locked, so nobody can get to it? Were only the driver and the key? Nah, I don't think that happened. No. Could it be in the safety box? Like people who go to a target range, they keep it in the case, the way it's supposed to, and lock. Nah, I don't think that happened. Could the gun have been left on the floor of the car, or the back seat of the car, or in the middle island, in the middle of the car, near the armrest? Yeah, I could see that. Easily. Did Dad take the gun away before he went into the store? Nah, I don't think he did that either. So pretty much, you got this guy who left his gun unattended, wide open, in a car for a 2-year-old who plays with everything. Now, I don't know how big this gun was. It obviously wasn't a shotgun, because only a 2-year-old is picking it up. But it has to be something that a 2-year-old can get their little hands around and do something. So a 2-year-old, well, they can't really grab a pistol the way they can't. But they could hold the butt of the gun in one hand and pull the trigger with the other, play with it. And unfortunately, it was pointed at the 4-year-old girl. And this is a A category of children I refer to as fucked for life. You know why I say fucked for life? Um, and I'm sorry if Twitch has a guideline for cursing. I will be told about this later on if there is one. But I use that phrase because this is a 2-year-old kid. 2-year-olds are barely self-aware. I don't even know if they are self-aware. They can't even go to the bathroom on their own. They can't do a lot of things on their own. They can barely walk straight. You know, they fall down. They're 2-year-olds. They do what 2-year-olds are supposed to do. They get curious, they pick things up, they put it in their mouth, which, let me tell you something, easily this kid could have looked at that gun, looked down the hole, you know, what's in there, and hit that trigger and blown his own head off. That's what 2-year-olds do. They play. And he's never going to know about this until someone explains it to him, because the 4-year-old girl could be self-aware. You know, maybe I don't know what, of course, I have no way of knowing what she was saying, like maybe put it down, stop. I don't know. But the 2-year-old, no shot. What do they do when they're playing? They laugh. What do 2-year-olds do? So anyway, this kid one day is going to have to live with himself for the rest of his life, all because of a careless parent who I will say will screw up any kid. Parents will screw up kids. The most well-intended, oh, there you go. Someone's having a good day. It's nice outside. I always say the most well-intended of parents will screw up a kid. And for all I know, this dad was going to fill up his gas tank and pick up a couple of snacks for the kids. I really don't know what he was doing in there, but you know, you got a kid, maybe you want to, yeah, whatever. But for all I know, you know, I don't think dad meant any harm, but yeah, there he goes. Carelessness did it. No thought did it. And now this happened. This kid here, I pity him when he gets older, and someone has to explain it to him. Okay, wait, we're trying to get rid of the page here. What's gonna, oh yeah, what word was I using before? Inclusion. I got this story the other day, still shifting gears around because I like to do that. I got this from Fox Business, and it seems that PepsiCo, which owns Cracker Jacks, is now unveiling new characters named Cracker Jill as part of its Cracker Jack brand in an effort to promote accomplishments of women in sports. Well, I'm all for acknowledging accomplishments of women in sports. I don't know that changing Cracker Jack is the most effective way of doing it. And if you want to acknowledge the accomplishments of women in sports, I'm not sure what their accomplishments in vendor candy is, but okay, we're going with it. And so much so, the words "to take me out to the ball game" was reworded for this occasion. And I didn't bother memorizing it yet, but there's a special edition bag which shows Jill in all different races, pretty much wearing, what colors is just Jill? Jill wears different variations of blue and white, soft blues and white. But there's one Jill with like a denim jacket up. So I'm seeing, yeah, there's, okay, they have different covers for the bag. Okay, different things. And I'm sure it's the original Cracker Jack. But if it's the original Cracker Jack and they're running the company the same way, obviously there's going to be no good surprises for kids in the bags. Because if you're out on Twitch, the odds are you don't know what the really good Cracker Jack surprises were for the children. We used to open up a box. They didn't always come in bags. They came in like a little cardboard box, like no longer than a brick, but not nearly as heavy. And candy was okay, but we always wanted to get in there and see what we can get. Sometimes it was a stupid little ring, a joke book, something. So a few years back, 4 years ago, I was talking about this on the air, and I said to everyone, next week I'm bringing in Cracker Jacks. And I'm sitting with Jade, and I brought a paper plate in, just paper towel, I forgot. And we're talking about this again, how kids get screwed all over the place. They don't even get free prizes anymore in cereals or candy or anything. And we opened up the box of Cracker Jack, bag, and we're looking for the prize. So I'm talking, Jade's taking what they have in there It's a sticker. It looks like like the wash off tattoos, temporary, and they put on your arm. It wasn't even something for a kid. It was an advertisement for an app. That's what they're giving kids, advertisements for apps, not even something fun for a kid. Then I was thinking, I don't even think cereals do this anymore. We used to get little prizes in a box of breakfast cereals, whether it was cornflakes or Rice Krispies or anything else for that matter. Some of the companies put little prizes in. So what did we do? We had to rip open into the box before the first bowl was poured, dig in, get the prize out, have fun with it, and then have breakfast. Can't do that anymore. Know why? They don't give it to you. So kids are missing out on a lot of fun in small areas. But, what the hell? Enjoy the cereal anyway. If Cracker Jill is the same as Cracker Jack, if you like the product, eat it anyway. All right. This time inclusion means inclusion. What else is going on in the world? Oh, man. Well, look at this. Time is going by fast. Okay, if you're looking for a job search, there is a British charity. This was put up 6 days ago on the BBC website. It says British charity hunts for a team to run an Antarctica post office. This is not a bad job for someone like me who wants to get away from it all. The team will maintain a Port Lockroy base, and it will be responsible for counting penguins through though it will be without running water. So you'll be counting penguins, but you'll have no running water. The UK Antarctic Heritage Trust said it usually gets hundreds of applications for these jobs. Well, okay. Contact the UK Antarctic Heritage Trust and see what they got. Do they have a website? You too can go to and count penguins with no running water. But with all that snow and ice, you can melt some. Do what you got to do. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Certainly, you got to be there for a little while, though. How long you have to be there for? They want you there for couple of years. What's it say? What? Yeah, it says you have to be there. I'm not even seeing the time how long you have to be there, but it's between November to March. So you're there for like 5 months. Okay, 4 or 5 months. Okay. Well, if you want to give it a shot, contact them. You too could be counting penguins. Oh man. What else? Here is one in business I saw, which I'm not quite sure how this would work out. It says, again, a lot of these are from last week. I know. What about today's news? Well, if you never heard about it, it is today's news. New York Attorney General is asking banks to end overdraft fees. That's New York Attorney General Letitia James last Wednesday asked J.P. Morgan Chase and Company, Bank of America, U.S. Bancorp, and Wells Fargo and Company to end all consumer overdraft fees by the summer. It says in the letters sent to the chief executives of 4 of the biggest U.S. consumer banks, James said the majority of overdraft fees are leveled on the most vulnerable customers with the lowest average account balances. I got it. The U.S. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Federal Consumer Watchdog, launched a campaign earlier this year to address what it calls junk fees. Well, there are a lot of fees I don't agree with. I really do think that charging people a yearly fee to use their credit card when you're getting interest and late fees is really a crappy thing to do. And yeah, there are plenty of credit cards charging you. You may see it every year in your credit card balance if you pay attention. It's anywhere between, depending on the company, anywhere between $25 and $40. Usually the ones I see is $39. But either way, I don't believe that should be there. Late fees. Well, there's a reason why you have a late fee. You're late. There's a reason why there's interest on that. Well, because it's just added on, becomes part of the balance, and of course that's how they make their money. But there is interest on it. Well, if you're charging a late fee, I don't know that you need interest. So if you want to tell me that one or the other was gone, I, I'm okay with it. I don't know that they're going to get rid of both, but okay. As far as overdraft fees, that's most commonly on like your ATM. You go into the ATM, you want to take out I don't know, $100, but you only have 50 in the account, bang, automatically, I believe you are being charged. I'm not sure. Last time I looked at someone's rates, it was $35 a transaction. Matter of fact, a few years ago, I forgot how many, maybe it was 5 years ago, something happened. Someone hacked my debit card. I don't know how it happened. Someone just hacked my account. They didn't get a lot out of it, but I kept track. I knew where it happened. I knew where it went, and I used the ATM a couple of times that day, over a course of a couple of times a day, and it kept giving me money and banging me out. I mean, I used a debit card to charge, to do this, and it kept on going, 35, 35, 35. That upset me because as a system, it should have had a red flag, there's something wrong, and done something. But I understand why there's an overdraft fee, because if you know that they say $20 in your account and you need to get hold of 40, and you go to an ATM and pull out 40, knowing this, you're taking money. You're taking the bank's money. It doesn't sound like a lot, but does the amount really matter? Whether it's 20 or 40 or 100 or 200, it doesn't matter. That's the practice. So if you get rid of it, of the overdraft fee, what would be the deterrent that stops people from taking more money than they have? Because unless you're just going to shut down the account automatically so they can't get it, okay, fine, then they can't overdraft. If you're removing the fee, remove the practice. That way, everything is level. That way it works, because otherwise, there's no way to stop people if there's no penalty for it. So if you're going to get rid of overdraft fees, get rid of the overdraft ability. And, that's just what I think. Now, also, I understand every now and again, people cut it close. They make a deposit. They hope the check cashes before the deposit clears before the check cashes. I understand that, but sometimes things don't work out, and and banks are very strict that way. They really are, because they see there's a deposit on their screen. It's in there. They know it was deposit, but it hasn't cleared yet. It may clear tomorrow, but not today. And they will bounce your check. They will bounce your transaction because of that, even though they know where it's coming from. They know it's coming, but okay. But the general practice is, at least the general thought of my brain is, if you want to get rid of overdraft fees, get rid of the ability to overdraft. Then no one can feel like they're being robbed for cash in the bank. What else is going on here? Of anything? Oh, time is flying bad, flying by. Let's see what else is going on here. Let's get to oh, this is going to make people sick. An NFT, virtual representation of the 1952 Mickey Mantle baseball card, was sold by Topps last Friday. This actually came from March 4th, yeah, from the Friday before that, for $470,711. That is not the price of the real Mickey Mantle baseball card. If you have a perfect, pristine, never opened from the package Mickey Mantle baseball card from 1952 in your collection, never handled, no fingerprints, nothing, the average price is $1.35 million. But yeah, someone put it in a virtual product. Now you own it. There's only one, because it's registered. There's only one. It's not like a baseball card. In reality, where there's plenty of them made. No, it's not like that. This sold for almost $500,000. Again, it's the internet. But if you're a comic book collector and you have comic books, This came from the 7th. It says Captain America, the first comic, the first edition of Captain America sold for $3.1 million. Captain America was created, during World War II. He took on the axis of evil, Nazis and all that. And yeah, actually, Captain America Comics #1 came in for $3.1 million. And I keep saying this. Anyone who was born around that time should have been a generation of multi-millionaires. But something happened. And that is that parents cleaned their bedroom. They cleaned up the room. They got rid of what was garbage, what they thought was garbage, and they threw it out. But I mean, not everybody knows about comic books, so it might have gone anyway, or been not handled carefully. But this comic, Captain America, was sold for $3.1 million, which is not far from the $3.6 million someone shelled out, in 2014 for the first comic with Spider-Man. Well, Spider-Man's bigger in the movies these days. So anyway, the first appearance of Superman went for $3.2 million in 2014, and Batman got $2.2 million in January of 2021. How can Batman? Well, all the kids watch Spider-Man. I thought Batman would have gone for more. But anyway, that's the story in comics. What can you do, right? What can you do? What is this? Let's get to some really, okay, before I get to the dumbest story of the week. Just so you know, Dancing with the Stars is moving to Disney Plus after 30 seasons on ABC. Yeah, that's what's happening. This came out April 8th. Dancing with the Stars has gone to the new home of Disney Plus, which if you're thinking you can find it on your television, think again. Disney Plus is a streaming site. You will have to pay their monthly fees or whatever you want if you want to watch this, if you don't already pay for it already. I want to watch my Star Treks. I got to pay for Paramount Plus. Disney Plus, whatever the monthly fee is, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Once again, the internet getting involved in the daily grind. Same thing with baseball. NBC and MLB is partnering for exclusive Sunday morning games on Peacock, the NBC website. So again, you're paying a monthly subscription fee to watch baseball, which has always been on television, but now you're paying for it again to watch it on the internet. Do you know what happens when everything goes to the internet, especially something like baseball? You don't have to go to a game. You just don't have to. And that really is the case. This will affect people's incomes. I mean, the cast of Dancing with the Stars, they're still going to be there. But the people who work baseball stadiums, the restaurants, the bars around it, the vendors and all that, they will be affected because the more commonplace this becomes, the more people will stay home from the stadium. I hope not, but I have never seen a time yet when the internet has not destroyed or crushed everything that in its path. Let's see, Nicholas Cruz, what's going on here? Let's get to I got some two dumb stories. Okay, one is Nicholas Cruz, who is on his death penalty case for murder in Florida, again, Florida. One of the jurors told the judge she couldn't be there because she has to see her sugar daddy. No, I'm not kidding you. She has to see her sugar daddy. Let me see. It says, prospective juror on the sentencing of Florida school shooter Nicholas Cruz told the judge she wouldn't have time for the civic job because she's both married and has a sugar daddy. Well, it's a three-step jury selection. The judge, she's starting to tell this story to the judge where the woman says, let me clarify myself. July 2nd is my birthday. July 4th is my son. And the 18th is my other son. The judge tells her to slow down because she wants to be able to keep up with this. Says, don't talk too fast. We have to be able to understand. I got that. So you said that 3 dates in July were not available. What are those dates? She repeats it. Then comes, and again, I need to figure out something. I have my sugar daddy that I see every day. Oh man. So the judge asks to repeat that and says, okay, we'll get back to you. So yeah, this woman could not do her her, her jury duty because she has to see her sugar daddy. I mean, I don't write this stuff. I wish I did. I wouldn't be that creative. And let me get to my last story of the night because, oh man, it all started for me with mock mayonnaise way back when. People fooling themselves into eating things because they want to say they can have it, but it's not really the case. Like having caffeine-free coffee or decaf coffee, which really has caffeine in it, and alcohol-free beer, which really has alcohol in it. Well, we know the vegans are out there with their Beyond Meats, plant-based everything. Now this is the vegan lox taste just like the real thing. This actually comes from December 2021, but I didn't see it until the other day. And well, I'm sure you didn't either. And pretty much they're using carrots. They're shredding carrots. And I'm going to give it to you. Let me see. What did it say? What? Carrots add carrots. Carrot lox adds a pop of color to any sandwich bread. Well, it should. It's bright orange. And then what's in the thing here? 3 large carrots, about a pound of it, salt, quarter cup of water, 3/4 soy sauce with tamari, 3 tablespoons rice vinegar or white vinegar. So again, you're doing whatever your taste is based on. Half of a lemon, tablespoon of maple syrup or agave, teaspoon of dried dill, 3 teaspoons liquid smoke, or 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, liquid smoke, okay, and 1 sheet toasted nori, 3/4 pieces of seaweed snacks. Then they give you the instructions. Pretty simple. Boil a pot of water, season the water generously with salt, boil the carrots for 10-15 minutes, adjust when tender, when pierced with a small knife, peel the carrots, so and so on, put it in the fridge, and you have lox. You don't have lox. It's not lox. It's not Nova salmon. It's not lox. It's not belly lox. It's a carrot. Stop deluding yourselves with what you're eating. It's not lox. Plant-based meat is not meat. It's just molded and made to look like meat. So why fool yourselves? That's always been my thing. I say, eat what you want. Eat what makes you happy. Excuse me. But people should stop fooling themselves into believing that they eat just so they can say they're eating it. It's not like you're lactose intolerant and someone managed to find a way to remove the lactose from the milk. Now you have lactate. That's different. I've had a drink of lactate. It doesn't taste bad, but it is not milk. I'm not looking to say that it's milk. Even coffee make non-dairy creamer comes in a liquid form. I'm not saying it's milk. It's not. It's a creamer. I'm not saying that. I mean, this looks nice and bright orange and listen, you want to put carrots on a bagel with cream cheese? Go. It's not a bad deal. Season it any way you want. Actually, the recipe sounds pretty good, but it is not lox. And I really believe that people are just fooling themselves into making the best I can say is making the way they want to live more palatable. And again, you want to be vegan? That's great. It's healthy. Go for it. Have fun. I mean, it's convenient. I don't care if you walk by a bush and peel off the leaves. Go do it. Do anything you want. But stop fooling yourselves. It's not lox. It's not. I see this vegan meats and delicatessens. No, it's not pastrami. No, it's not. It's not corned beef. No, it's not. McDonald's has. No, wrong. It's time for me to stop now. I'm going a minute over. Thank you everyone for tuning in to us here on Twitch. We do appreciate it. Jade and I are trying something new. We're trying to get things, kicking in a little bit different way. And hopefully that, hopefully you give us a little feedback. We want to hear your comments. We want to hear what you think. And, feel free. I thank everyone for tuning in. I will be here next week, same time, same channel. You've been up front with me. I try to be upfront with you, and everyone should be heard. We want to hear from you. Please comment. Jade, thank you for being here. I will see you next week as well. And that's the story. Good night. All right. So here we are in the post-game show. Okay, cool. All right. Well, let me, I'll say hello to Nicole. We're, I'm on Twitch. Yeah, I see you did it. It says I could leave. I don't want to. Yeah, but she's talking more news. Okay.